Hey everyone, Angie back for another Barista Basics video. I hope that you guys are doing well. As you can tell from today's title, we are going to be discussing pumpkin spice. That's right, the well-beloved pumpkin spice. Perhaps overrated pumpkin spice, depends on who you ask. But yeah, so pumpkin spice season, fall season I should say, is right around the corner. Actually, pumpkin spice has already launched in quite a few sort of retail coffee locations. I know Dunkin' Donuts has done it, Starbucks has recently done it as well, and I'm sure a bunch of other places are hopping on the pumpkin spice fall trend. So I figured this would be an appropriate time to discuss what exactly pumpkin spice is, and yeah, honestly, that's it. So pumpkin spice, originally, obviously, it wasn't intended to be consumed, as a beverage. As the name sort of implies, pumpkin spice was originally created, or, this combination of spices was used for the purpose of flavoring your pumpkin pie, which is, of course, a popular treat during the fall season. And so pumpkin spice, the spice mixture, is primarily composed of cinnamon and nutmeg, but there's also typically some sort of ginger in there, as well as clove, and occasionally also some allspice. And a lot of these things aren't really surprising because basically these very cinnamon or nutty flavors go great with pumpkin pie, but also I feel like really sort of encapsulate, kind of like fall vibes, So that's what pumpkin spice is made out of. Those are the spices that combine to make pumpkin spice. So if you thought pumpkin spice actually had some sort of pumpkin incorporated in it, it doesn't, which is why if you get, a pumpkin spice latte or any sort of pumpkin spice anything, it doesn't really taste quite like pumpkin. It just tastes basically like cinnamon, with some of these more nuanced spices in there as well. But at least for me personally, whenever I have pumpkin spice, which isn't very often because, I feel, sort of lukewarm about pumpkin spice in general. But for me personally, I get a lot of cinnamon. And I think that's, the case for a good bit of people too. So that is what pumpkin spice is now, and I just wanted to, kind of clear that up because I feel like I've been hearing from a lot of customers recently, like obviously they're not saying it to me, but, hearing them talk in my vicinity, they're like, I can really taste the pumpkin in this, or, they say things around that line and it's like, well, it's just colored orange. It's not really, it doesn't have a strong pumpkin flavor, but more power to you if you feel like you taste it. So that was a little, I just wanted to clarify that fact. Now, I guess how I should proceed would be discussing what exactly, or how you could utilize pumpkin spice in beverages. So obviously, as I mentioned previously, there is the coveted pumpkin spice latte, very iconic. And obviously, as we know, lattes utilize milk. It's more specifically would be like a pumpkin spice cafe latte, since most times you get it with espresso as well. And at least the way Starbucks does it, it gets topped with whipped cream and then also this pumpkin spice powder, which, as we've learned, is just a combination of those spices that I mentioned previously. Then you could also get it as a blended beverage, as a frappuccino. If we're talking about Starbucks, I'm not really sure. I haven't been to Dunkin' in a hot minute, but I know they have like culottes and stuff, so I assume they have some sort of blended pumpkin beverage as well, since it's fall time. But you can get, obviously, your pumpkin spice blended. You could get it hot or over ice. And then there are also pumpkin spice treats that you can get too. And again, I'm going to be drawing from information from Starbucks because that is what I know. So there is the pumpkin scone, which is pretty good. In my opinion, the icing on top is a little bit too sweet, So I like to have that, but just not, I like to get the pastry, but not eat all of the icing on top. Because like I said, for me, it's just a little too sweet, but it's good anyways. Then there's the pumpkin and cream cheese muffin, which I actually have not had because I do not like cream cheese. I know that's sort of an unpopular opinion, but cream cheese is not really my style. I'm not really a big fan of cheesecake or anything like that either. So that doesn't really appeal to me. I think I actually should try it, you know, at some point so I can actually be a good barista. But for the time being, I have not tried that one. And then I think those are the only two, yeah. So those are the only sort of pumpkin spice treats that you could get from Starbucks. But like I said, I'm sure other, you know, coffee shops, not only Dunkin', but, you know, smaller coffee shops, since fall time is encroaching, will have some sort of, you know, cinnamon, pumpkin spice, whatever sort of treats as well. Oh, and also one thing I wanted to mention as well before I conclude the video is that obviously this is me speaking regarding Starbucks' pumpkin spice, but the pumpkin spice sauce does contain dairy in it. You know, it's not a very large amount, but it does include dairy, and I feel like not a lot of people know that. You know, people will come in and they'll be like, can I get a pumpkin spice latte with, you know, almond milk and no whipped cream? And, you know, most times I ask, like, is this for an allergy or, you know, is this just a preference? And a lot of the time they say that it's for an allergy. So I always like to inform them that the pumpkin spice sauce itself also contains dairy. And most people are like, oh, no, it's fine. You know, a little bit like that never killed anyone. So I haven't had any, well, I haven't heard of any, you know, sort of bad effects of having the pumpkin spice, even if you're lactose intolerant. But I figured I would just put that out there in case you're super, or if you're vegan even, that would be useful information if you're vegan as well. Obviously you can't consume the pumpkin spice sauce if it has dairy in it. Oh, okay. I guess this video is going to be a little longer than I anticipated, but that makes me think of something that one of my coworkers recently spoke about, who's a vegan. And he, sorry, my hair is killing me right now. He was speaking to me about how he really wanted to have the pumpkin spice, but obviously he can't since it contains dairy. And he said that he just puts the pumpkin spice powder, you know, that we sprinkle on top of the beverage. He either puts that in like a cold foam pitcher, you know, with like whatever milk alternative he prefers, or he steams it in the alternative milk, and then it, you know, gives a semblance of pumpkin spice, which I thought was a really clever idea. I hadn't thought to do that because I'm not vegan. I just consume the pumpkin spice as it is. But when he said that to me, I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I figured that I would share that in case there are any vegans that have a hankering for some pumpkin spice. That is a solution for you. And yeah, that's actually it for today's video. Sorry if this information seemed pretty, if a lot of the information in this video seemed pretty obvious. There's not a lot of, you know, sort of nuances related to pumpkin spice, but I feel like there were a few interesting facts that I could contribute. I just felt that this video would be super appropriate, you know, considering the fact that pumpkin spice has launched very recently for a lot of these major, you know, coffee retailers. And like I said, fall time is encroaching, and 'tis the season for pumpkin spice, so why not make a video about it, right? But anyways, with all that said, I do hope that you guys at least learned something interesting or something new or something useful. I hope that you are staying safe and sane, healthy, motivated, and entertained. If you are protesting, I hope you're staying extra, extra, super duper safe. I know I say that every week, but now more than ever, we really need to be staying extra, extra, super duper safe, you know, in light of recent events. And if you are protesting, remember to have an emergency contact or two on standby, you know, a friend or a family member, somebody you can trust that will assuredly have your back, just in case something goes amiss. And yeah, with all that said, I appreciate you guys for checking the video out, and I hope that you guys stay well until next week. Take care.